is WrestleMania weekend and the day of WrestleMania Night 1. In fact, all of this happened in the morning, even though the Hall of Fame went into the wee hours of the morning for a lot of people and everyone's call time was super early, but that didn't stop the NXT roster from standing up and delivering a hell of a show to start WrestleMania Day 1. That is what we're going to be talking here on this special edition of NXT Talk. That's right, we're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
NXT Talk, bonjour. I remember that show. That was a good one. This was a good one too. This Stand and Deliver 2025. They stood, and Boris, I dare say they delivered, buddy. This was a good one. This was a great start to the weekend on the WWE side. Although, as you well know, the weekend for professional wrestling has been going on since what, Tuesday? It's a long weekend.
It's been honestly, it's a week-long celebration. It is like that annoying friend that you have who celebrates their birthday for the entire month and won't shut the fuck up about it. That is what WrestleMania has become, but we love it. I love it. Honestly, I'm still hyped. Man, I try so hard to stay positive, and you know what, Matt? I figured out what we have to do to stay positive.
What's that? Watch less wrestling?
Well, number one, watch less wrestling. Number two, mute the internet. I don't know what is going on this week, but the internet wrestling community collectively is just destroying me on so many levels, man. There's just so much negativity out there, so much paraphrasing of long interviews. There's just so many things going on right now with the internet wrestling community that I just needed to tune the F out. And what a perfect way to tune it out than to actually watch a great show, which was Stand and Deliver. Yes, it was an early start, but you know what, Matt? Here's the thing about WWE and what a lot of people fail to realize. What is the first W in WWE mean?
I believe it means world, Boris. It stands for the world.
The world. So guess what? The world is huge, and not every show is going to happen in a convenient time for you. Like people, and people, I'm flabbergasted that there are people on the internet that don't understand time zones. Because they were honestly complaining about how dare WWE keep their wrestlers up until 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. In Vegas, it would be 2 a.m. in Las Vegas,
it's
and
not much better.
I promise you. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not much better 2 a.m. Having said that, this isn't the first year that the Hall of Fame has gone on past 1 a.m. And they're in Vegas. You don't think that these people are going to be partying? Like, there's videos of wrestlers just going ham. Liv Morgan just having the time of her life. God bless them. They deserve it. This is the one weekend where they get to live like gods and goddesses. Let them have it. Let's enjoy wrestling. If WWE is not your cup of tea, there's so many other things that you could have watched last night, including Sabu's last match, Diego del Sol's last match.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he lost a Mask v career. He unmasked and took off his boots and left them in the middle of the GCW ring. But again, man, it's just like everyone just needs to be a little more tranquilo. Let's enjoy this. Like, these people are busting their ass 300 plus days a year to give us homebodies entertainment. And by God, I respect each and every single one of them for that. And that's what I love about WrestleMania weekend is there's just so much that you can pick and choose to watch. But that's just my rant. I needed to get that out of the way. Matt, we're here to talk about NXT Stand and Deliver. Any final thoughts before we do move on?
No, thank you for saying that. I 1 million trillion billion% agree, and you punctuated it well, man. Yeah, the Sabu match. We should talk about that soon. I've read about that. I haven't seen it myself.
What we are going to do, we have talked about the fact that we're going to be covering all the shows, but at the end, after the weekend, what we should do, like Tuesday or Wednesday, is watch whatever we haven't watched, because there's just so much, including Joey Janela's Spring Break, the Stardom show, Bloodsport to catch up, and all that fun stuff, right? And we should just do a weekend wrap-up, right? Like, what did we enjoy watching throughout the weekend. We should probably do that like Monday or Tuesday so that it stays relevant. But that's what I kind of want to do because there's just so many shows that I wasn't able to watch that I wanted to watch, right? Like I have a bunch of fight codes just sitting in there for me to watch because it's like there's just so fucking much. But yes, Matt, I do want to talk about the Sabu match.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, same. I that seems very interesting. Too much wrestling, not enough time in the day, big homie. But one thing I wanted to say for sure, friend Boris, is that these people, like you said, are in fucking Las Vegas. They're not the first people in the history of the city of Las Vegas to be up till 2 a.m. You're gonna be up late in Las Vegas. They were partying anyway. It's all good for the wrestlers, and like you don't have to watch these things. I love the Hall of Fame. I always watch it every year. I haven't gotten to it yet because I have life. You know what I mean? I'm not like high rolling jet setting like Ric Flair, but yeah, I do somewhere in here. I do. But yeah, Boris. I mean, like, fucking, there's not enough time in the day. Like, this is meant to be a celebration of wrestling. Watch what you can. And if you didn't see NXT Stand and Deliver, by God, we're here to tell you about what was a shockingly good show. Takeover level.
Really, really good show. Like, honestly, you know what? I still have this mindset where NXT, yes, it's not Adam Cole's NXT, but by God, these gals and guys delivered and they stood and it was fun. But Matt, right before we do that, some breaking news that was announced during Stand and Deliver, June 7th, Inglewood, California, just outside of LA. They might as well call themselves LA. It actually is LA. Inglewood, California, June 7th, Worlds Collide, AAA, and NXT are putting on a co-joint show.
Let's go. That's very interesting. Will be a hot crowd, I'm sure. Are they doing that in the Clippers arena?
No. They're doing it at the Kia Forum, which is kind of like the Clippers arena. Oh man, that would be insane if they did it there. Yeah, like with the video wall and such. Yeah. That would be crazy. Kia Forum is where AEW typically goes. Nice little venue in Inglewood, California. Inglewood is kind of where all the stadiums and arenas are going right now. Like it's kind of where USC plays. It's right by the it's very close to downtown. It's nice little location, but it's being built up like a mofo. I have family that lives just like right on the outskirts, right by the Coliseum, behind the Coliseum, kind of. All of that is kind of considered Inglewood, California. But yeah, man, June 7th, Kia Forum, Worlds Collide. By God, Boris, that sounds pretty cool. I can't wait to check that out. That'll be very good. And it'll be a nice moment for Stephanie Vaquer. Maybe that's why she's sticking around in NXT for a little bit. Exactly. All right, so let's start with NXT Stand and Deliver. They had the pre-show. The pre-show started. And here in the States, it's easy. You can still watch everything on Peacock. But outside of the States, it's a little more confusing, right? For some reason, and I don't understand, I'm pretty sure it's a rights reason, a contractual, I don't know, I don't care. But it is a little confusing for us Canadian fans, right? Because the pre-shows aren't happening on Netflix. The pre-shows are on YouTube. So anytime there's a pre-show, in fact, there's one starting in 10 minutes for WrestleMania Night 1. All the pre-shows is on YouTube. And unfortunately, some people missed out on the women's four-way tag team match because it was on YouTube and not Netflix during the main show. So just a reminder, and I'll try to put that on our threads. Hey, by the way, pre-show YouTube. I actually updated the WrestleMania thread to give peeps that information because I feel bad, man. Nice. It sucks, especially for someone who was looking forward to the match with Roxanne and Cora and all of them, right? So, but yeah. Quick reminder. Absolutely, yeah. That was a curveball. They didn't tell us beforehand until they kind of just sprung that upon us. But yeah, this women's tag team title, fatal four-way elimination match for the number one contendership to the women's tag team title was actually sick. It was really, really good. It was really good. It was really fast-paced, man. And Roxanne Perez continues to show that she is honestly, Matt, can we honestly say top 5, top 3 female wrestler in the world? Oh, 1,000,000%, buddy. I've been on that train for a while, for a minute. When she was a babyface, I actually thought the closest pro comp
to Roxanne Perez. You know, when you see in the NFL draft or the NBA draft, they'll say like pro comp, this guy's like Vince Carter or Michael Jordan or whatever. Her pro comp was Ricky Steamboat. Straight up. When she was a babyface, she reminded me of Ricky fucking Steamboat. I'm not lying. I mean that with all my heart. The way she sold to the back of the room, the way she was so crisp with everything, and she just like her connection with the audience, though not being a strong promo, and the specific things she was good at in the ring reminded me so much of Ricky Steamboat. And then she got to this heel character, and it was iffy for like a bit, for like 6 months to a year. It wasn't going well, but then for some reason it just clicked just like that. And Roxanne Perez is great, man. She is an absolutely fantastic wrestler, easily top 5 female wrestler in the business. If you look at the names in this match, Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, Cora Jade, Roxanne, Fallon Henley, JC Jane, Jakara Jackson, and Lash Legend, the 8 performers in this match. Other than Roxanne, I think this might have been the best match of the careers of 7 out of 8 people.
Yeah, and I want to give credit. I know when NXT 2.0 started, you and I used to give tons of shit to Lash Legend, but honest to God, man, I don't know. You know what it is? It's a return of house shows and the Florida Loop, but Lash Legend is awesome right now. She has really grown into becoming a pro wrestler, and she gets it. She is now an entertainer, a performer, a wrestler. She can do it all. Really looking forward to what she gives us. But yeah, I just wanted to call out that because, you know, we did give her shit. And I like being proved wrong, right? Like the whole Tony Storm will never work as a heel thing. Who would have thought 5 years later?
Yeah, exactly. But she was so good as a heel, she turned herself babyface. But yeah, this was a very good match. Just quickly, I'm going to go through the actual skeletons, the results. So first elimination, Roxanne Perez pins Lash Legend after reversing a Lash powerbomb into her finish, Pop Rocks. According to Cage Match, that was 7 minutes and 28 seconds in. Second elimination, Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley pin Cora Jade. Boris, after Roxanne leaves, she quits on her partner. Like, I'm going to do to you, by God. No, I'm just kidding. I love everybody. But yes, Roxanne walks out. No, I swear to God, that's not what happened. Roxanne walks out on Cora Jade 9 minutes and 17 seconds into the match. Cora Jade gets pinned by a double roll-up from Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. And then the final fall, Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley win the match. They are the new women's tag team title #1 contenders after pinning... which one was it? I think it was JC Jane, Boris, with the Cemetery Drive, which is their weird finish. It was JC.
It's awkward at times, but it's cool also. TNA on Thursday, it looked really awkward. I wasn't a fan of it, but tonight, here, it looked a lot better. It looked so much better here on NXT at Stand and Deliver as opposed to TNA. But yeah. Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, moving on to Tuesday, facing either Bayley and Lyra Valkyria or Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, whatever her name is. Matt, does WWE have the balls to keep Liv Morgan in Vegas until Tuesday night?
Was she really living it up? I didn't see what was happening. Perhaps I should go check Instagram.
Yep. Good times for her.
Nice. Well, they don't call her Death Morgan. You know, her name is Liv. She's going to live her life, Boris. But yeah, right now on cagematch.com, this has a 7.29 out of 10. And I actually feel like that's a little low. This was one of the best pre-show matches I've seen in forever. This was actually really good and worth your time. 13 minutes. And it was a great showing for all 8 of these women. Great job. Can't say enough.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's safe to say that Roxanne Perez is officially now moving up to the main roster. She did walk out on her partner. Nice kind of way to say, you know, adieu, goodbye, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. Shall we go into song and dance?
We can confirm after our podcast a couple weeks ago that our Wiedersehen is indeed goodbye in German and not hello. Little nugget for longtime listeners. Little breaking news here on the NXT Talk podcast.
Yep. All right, there we go. Good match, very fun match. Let us start with the main show at this point, and it was the AEW Dark Bull Ricky Saints, your North American champion, versus All Ego Ethan Page. You know what I love? The fact that I forget who it was, Vic Joseph or Corey Graves, they pointed out the fact that, people doubted them, and the doubters are the people who are going to keep their eyes on them, and both of these guys have a lot to watch, like a lot to prove, sorry. So I really love that story. Matt, did they live up to any hype?
Okay, so I think so. I've seen fans like just on Reddit, which skews negative for wrestling, and just like in general, just kind of like poo-poo on this match. The NXT, Stand and Deliver cage match rating right now 6.86 out of 10 for this match, which again, it's not the end all be all. This is just like very underrated. What happened with this match is Ricky Saints sold his ass off. He was getting the shit kicked out of him the entire match, and he was like really slowing down the pace, selling every step. And I feel like maybe wrestling fans and NXT fans aren't used to that speed of match anymore. But this really worked for me, man. I think if you actually watch the match and watch what was happening in the ring, I do think it was really good, specifically Ricky Saints slowing down the pace and trying to explore the studio space a little bit. I thought it was really strong Ricky Saints performance.
My favorite chant of the night happened in this match when the crowd started chanting, "Thank you, Tony."
That's awesome. Yeah, the Vegas crowd was, I don't know, it's been a hit and miss in the last couple days, honestly, but they were on fire for this entire show. Great showing by the crowd, and that's a fucking hilarious chant. That's so good.
Yeah, it reminded me of the "Thank you, Nico" chants, right? Like, it was just like, it was gold. It was fucking gold, Jerry. But yeah, no, this was a very good match. I think that this match had told some good story. Both guys looked very strong as Ethan Page goes on to TNA Rebellion later on this month. In fact, next weekend, to challenge Joe Hendry for the TNA Championship.
Very interesting. Yeah, this was a chance for Ricky Saints to establish himself as a babyface, to sell, to go to war. Ethan Page beat the crap out of this guy, but this guy persevered. He won. It was 12 minutes and 43 seconds. Ricky Saints, formerly Ricky Starks, pins Ethan Page with his Rochambeau, which is not a kick to the nuts, Boris, but it is a running dominator like Farouk used to do.
Which kind of came out of nowhere. I was actually shocked. Like, I saw him do the Rochambeau, and my first thought was, oh, here we go. It's going to be a kick out, but no, it was the end of the match.
Same. I actually thought the exact same thing. Yeah, because Ethan Page was beating him up, and then he kind of like countered, hit his finisher once, and that's kind of usually in this day and age of wrestling the signal that they're going to the finishing, sequence. But that actually was the finish, and I liked that. I, for one, enjoyed that.
Which leads me to believe that they are going to protect that Rochambeau like they did, like Baron Corbin's finisher and stuff. Like, the fact that he got the win with it, with one Rochambeau tonight, or today, this morning, whatever you want to say. That's kind of my thought on that.
Very true. That's such a great call. Yeah, they really did protect that move. The End of Days it was, right?
End of Days, that's it.
This is the new End of Days. Yeah, for sure. Good call.
All right, here we go to the next match. The shocker of the night for me, Nathan Fraser and Axiom versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger, Public Enemy 2.0 for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Matt, this is by far Hank and Tank's best match in their career. Like, by far.
Oh my God. By a grand chasm. The best match that Hank Walker and Tank Ledger have ever been in. A shocking turn of events here. Although someone on our show called it, Boris. Someone on our show, on our preview show, did call it. Shout out to Yorkie, UK correspondent here at A Plus Productions. But Hank and Tank win the NXT Tag Team Championships when Hank pins Nathan Fraser after their finishing move, which I don't think has a name, but okay. So Hank does the British Bulldog running power slam to his opponent. And while he's like power slamming dude, Tank comes in with like a dumb flying headbutt. It's a running power slam into a Ilya Dragunov headbutt is what it is. And that's their weird finisher. When
I do the slam reports for NXT, and I've seen this on the web, on the internet, it's called the high-low power slam. That's what I call it.
High-low power slam. Well, that is what they defeated Nathan Fraser with to win the NXT Tag Team titles. This is currently at 9.00 on the cage match, which I assume will come down again. This is Rotten Tomatoes. It's not necessarily a gauge on exactly how great a match is, but most fans are, I think, pretty well educated at this point. It's a pretty solid gauge. You might disagree with a Yelp review. You might disagree with this. This was a fucking great match. Shockingly, like the rest of the show, everything was good. Some of it great. Some of it blew your socks off. This blew my socks off, Boris.
Technically speaking, I wasn't wrong when I said that Fraxium was going to lose out of the blue to a shit team. Technically, I wasn't wrong.
Shit team is aggressive, but some may agree. Some may agree with you, big homie.
All right, next it was a ladder match for the vacant NXT Women's North American Championship. It was Taya Hale versus Lola Vice versus Izzy Dame versus Sol Ruca versus Zarya versus Kalani Jordan. All right, a couple thoughts that came to mind after this match was Izzy Dame, as good as she was, needs to be a little careful. She could have really hurt some people throughout this match. Taya Hale also, man, she is an aggressive dog character, and she was a highlight for me. Lola Vice was a little quiet in this match. Like, she didn't really do much, right? Like, that was kind of my take on that.
Yeah, I actually, because she did so little, I kind of thought they were preserving her for one big burst at the end and then the win. I thought she was going to win this match, but that never happened. The big burst at the end was Sol Ruca winning the WWE NXT Women's North American Championship. It's a mouthful, but she looked amazing in this match. She is a star waiting to happen. She's going to be a big star in professional wrestling for a very long time. This was good. I would probably say it was the weakest match on the show. It was their eyes were very big in this match. I don't know if their eyes were too big for their stomach. They tried a lot of really cool, really ambitious stuff. Not all of it was super crisp and clean, but it was still a very good match, and you have to respect the effort. All 6 of these women risked their bodies. They really fucking tried very hard, put together a very interesting, intriguing match. It was maybe a little bit on paper than it was in practice, but it was still very good. And yeah, Sol Ruca. Oh, I had written down the thing you said about Izzy Dame. She was a bull in a china shop in this match. Izzy Dame got her first chance to shine in NXT, and she did look good.
She did,
but she almost murdered a couple people.
Yeah. See, this is one of the things, right? And this is, we have to remember, Matt, like, this is what I'm honestly remembering right now as I'm even going through my notes. This is developmental, right? This is developmental. A lot of the names in this match are people that, a year ago weren't even pro wrestlers, right? Like, or a year ago were still not even on NXT TV. On paper, like, they did good. They did good for what it was. One slip and someone's not walking anymore, right? Like, that's the thing. We can complain. We can say this match was a little sloppy. We can say this was slow and things looked awkward. But you know what? They pulled everything off. They came out, as far as we know, all uninjured. And Sol Ruca is your new North American champion. Like, what more can we say?
Exactly. I think in the end, though it wasn't the person I picked, I predicted, I think the right woman won this match. Sol Ruca should be this champion. This is the level she's at in NXT right now, at least. I think she deserved this belt. She gets it. 14 minutes and 40 seconds. They worked extremely hard. This was quite good. And even if it was the weakest match on the entire show, it was still a good match on a good show.
Exactly. Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Luca Crucifino with Adrian Rizzo versus Dark State's Dion Lennox, Saquon Sugars, and Osiris Griffin with Cutler James. I gotta say, number one, Dark State, better than I thought. Like them more than I thought. Better than Retribution. Not quite NWO, but better than Retribution, which I know that bar is super low, but I think they look good. I think they wrestle a lot better than I thought they would. And their presentation is kind of cool. And, this is a hard one because you want them to get the win and you want them to get a dominant win, but I kind of feel like story took over on this one.
Yes. So the actual finish is Dark State wins when Dion Lennox pins Tony D'Angelo after Dark State's finishing move, which is like a throwing power bomb. Two of the guys pick a guy up in like a back suplex and they throw him up in the air high like the friggin' Spear Squad used to do. And then the third guy catches him, throws him down in a power bomb. By God, he's dead. 1, 2, 3. That's Dark State's finisher. So that happened after Channing stacks Lorenzo. By God, Boris the underboss. He turned on his boy, Tony D, kicked him squaw in the nuts, ironically, not unlike a Rochambeau. Shouting out South Park. But yeah, so this was a big turn. They've been building up to this literally for years, like 18 months, if not more. It's been clear that Channing is going to turn on Tony, and Channing did turn on Tony, kicked him in the nuts, and left the family. So Dark State wins. This was a really good triple threat match, or sorry, 6-man tag match compared to like every wrestling match you've ever seen before. If you think about WWE superstars in 1990, this was a very good wrestling match. You could argue this was the weakest match on the show versus the ladder match because it was such a great show. Okay, so I'll leave you with this before you take back over, Boris. If the Shield was like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 in terms of how to introduce new characters in wrestling, and Retribution was like a 0 out of 10. They failed. That was meant to be a joke from day one. Where on 10 do you rate this group of Dark State? Where do you think they are on that spectrum?
I think a 7. I think their intro and kind of their teasers and all that was really well done. They kind of fizzled a little bit, but this match really got them back up. So I would give them a hard 7.
Hard 7.
A hard
Boris,
7.
I
tend to say that a lot in my life. A hard 7.
I love it. Boris Aguilar, king of the hard 7. I think I agree 100%. It's a pretty solid match.
Yeah, it was very good. Very good. Now let's continue this. Let's continue this momentum that they have, and we'll see what happens. But Dark State off to a relatively good start. They're not the Shield. They're not NWO. But by God, at least they're not Retribution.
Yes, at least they are not Retribution, that was just Vince McMahon being mad at Antifa. I think we can all say with a couple of years of time away from it. Anyway, this is, according to Cage Match, the lowest rated and worst match on the show, but it is still a passing grade, 6.39 at this moment, Boris, out of 10. And like a couple matches on this show, I'd say that's a little low. I would give it like 3 stars, 3.5 stars, easy. This was good. Everything on the show was good. I'm excited to see more of this Dark State.
Yes, same here. All right, we are going to go to the next match, which is for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie of a Carrier champion versus Julia versus Jada Parker versus Jordan Grace. Your girl, Jada Parker, had an awesome showing, and she proved what you've been saying for so long, and that is that she's got it.
Undeniably so charismatic. You just want to see what she does. She's been a top 10 speaker in wrestling since the moment she walked in the door. She walked in as one of the 10 best promos in wrestling, straight up. And you can see it every single week on NXT if you choose to tune in. She did really well in this match. This was one of her best in-ring performances for sure. But she's been figuring that part out. She has the part that you can't teach in spades. You can teach someone to be a better wrestler if they care, if they put in the time. We've seen that with friggin' Lash Legend and 7 out of the 8 women in that first match. We've seen that with our own eyes. So Jada Parker is on that path to being an absolute superstar. She has it, IT, capital letters, exclamation point, it, Boris.
Yep. All right, man. What I really did enjoy about this match is that this wasn't your typical WWE multi-person match. There was a lot of action. You had to pay attention to what was going on, right? Like 2 women weren't outside catching a break while 2 women were in the ring. Yeah, it happens sometimes. You gotta feature people at times. But for the most part, they were able to cleverly and elaborately have all 4 of them in action. For example, they all did a quadruple, triple, I don't know what you would call it, submission hold at one point.
Yeah, they came up with creative ways to involve all 4 combatants in the match at the same time. Everyone was featured. And like you said, yeah, well, the wrestlers have to sell. At some point, you have to show the impact of the move that you just received. So it makes sense to roll out to the ring. Like they can't all just be doing Dragon Gate spots the entire fucking time. But I did think this was great. CageMatch.com has it at 7.52 out of 10. That's about right. I would say like 3.5 stars, 3.5 out of 5, 7.5-ish kind of range. This match ends in 16 minutes and 30 seconds when the defending champion, La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer, defeats Jada Parker, my girl, with the SVB, the Stephanie Vaquer breaker, the package backbreaker thing that she does so well. One running theme throughout this match was just really funny. Is like her move where she traps her opponent in her knees and like kind of twerks into the ground, like the evil twerk maneuver. The hump and stump. Yes, exactly. She was trying to hump and or stump these women, Boris, and she kept getting interrupted, and the crowd would boo so loudly, and Booker T would be so visibly, audibly disappointed on commentary. And then finally she humped and she stumped and she blew the house down, and the whole crowd absolutely lost their mind. This was just a ton of fun. This is such a great match, and Stephanie Vaquer retained her title. She's the most popular wrestler in NXT, possibly male or female, definitely female right now. She's becoming a big star. If she's not going to Raw tomorrow, like if she's not going to be on Raw on Monday, this made a lot of sense. Keep the title on her. There's no reason to take it off her if she's not leaving. When she's leaving, take the belt off her. For now, she's sick. She's becoming a huge star.
Yeah, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin said something on the Hall of Fame speech that you'll watch later, Matt, and that's what made his match with Bret Hart so special is that it was simple and it was easy, and he kind of gave tips to some of the kids without really going too deep into it. He basically said, easy, simple matches are the best matches. You don't have to kill yourself. And that's what this match was.
Yes, absolutely. And they still were able to take the crowd on the ride. And that's the art of it, Boris. That's the art of it. And crazy moves are great. Big stunts are great. We all love Jeff Hardy. We all love Kenny Omega. But the reason why Kenny Omega got to the level he is because he can tell those stories within his intricate madness. And this was more story than intricate madness. But there were still humps and pumps. And for that, we are grateful, Boris.
All right, so they also had a running gag throughout the show where Penn and or Taylor made Alexis King's Heritage Cup disappear. Alexis King was trying to find it. I guess we're going to get a through story into Tuesday because they are still in Vegas. After that, Sarah Schreiber caught up to Stax, whose car just so happened to be conveniently parked right outside of the arena. He jumps in. She's trying to figure out why. Luca goes up to Stax, and he's like, why? And he says he'll text them, and he'll reveal everything on Tuesday. That's that. All right.
Text message angle in wrestling is a first.
NXT Championship match, triple threat, Oba Femi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. My God. Again, number one, this wasn't your Grand Poppies triple threat match. They had great action throughout the match with all three of them. Javon Evans, Matt, like he at first kind of felt like he was going to be the odd man out, but man, was he able to hang with both Trick Williams and Oba Femi.
Yes, absolutely. He looked so good in this match. In fact, he might be like a candidate for MVP of the entire show. They really let him shine because ultimately I think everyone in the building knew he was going to take the L. He was going to take the pin. He was going to lose yet again.
100%, but man, there was a moment or two where I honestly thought he could win. Like, they got me. Yeah. WWE got me.
For sure. And that's a testament to Javon Evans, not just the booking of the match, which was also spectacular, but the kid did such a good job. The young OG, he was sick in this match. And yeah, this was such a good main event. It is highly rated on the cage match right now. And again, we done the rant. This isn't end all be all, but currently 9.37 out of 10. People loved this match, and rightfully so. It was very, very good. I think it will come down, but NXT does these triple threats now, these triple threats or fatal four ways. The one with Ethan Page recently comes to mind. Oba Femi versus all the big guys there versus friggin' what's his name? Damn it, I'm drawing a blank. Who used to be with Bull Buchanan's son? Yeah. Anyway, they've done all these triple threats recently that are so good, and this was yet another Oba Femi triple threat match that delivered to a level of a classic.
Yep. Javon Evans reminded me of a 2003 to 2005 AJ Styles in this match. Like a guy that you thought was just flippily doodah, but man, could he wrestle.
That's such a great call. The athleticism blows you off the page, but then you watch a little more and it's like, no, this guy gets it. This guy sells well. He bumps so well. He's not just a dumb athlete in there. He's actually a sick wrestler. That's such a great call.
Also, could this be the strongest referee known to man who was able to kick free from Oba Femi?
I love that. And the announcers did such a good job. So at one point, Trick Williams is pinning Javon, and it's 1-2, and then Oba Femi grabs the referee, holds him back, obstructs him from making his count, and the referee kicks Oba Femi off of him. And he goes to make the pin, and then the announcers say, this match means so much. Our refs aren't like the NFL or the NBA. They actually care about the outcome, and they want to see it through. I thought that was excellent.
Yep, Oba powerbomb Trick on Evans. Oba hits Evans with a sit-up powerbomb for the win in about 17 minutes to retain and to end an awesome stand and deliver. Matt, it's honestly safe to say that the entire NXT roster stood and delivered on this show.
1,000%, buddy. And it kind of made you feel bad for the people who were left off the show, but at least everyone got a chance to shine. Tag team championship, the men's tag team championship was a huge shock to me. Josh Briggs was the name I was trying to come up with. The Oba Femi versus Donovan Dijak versus Josh Briggs match last year was like the gold standard for new NXT triple threat matches until this one, which kind of low-key blew it out of the water. This one was actually better, significantly better. Like you said, Oba Femi plants Javon Evans deep into the cold ground with a powerbomb to retain the title. Great show. I had so much fun watching this, and it was a perfect start to the WrestleMania weekend.
Yep, it really was. It really was a good odor. It was really a good a moose-bouche to WrestleMania steak and potatoes.
Yes, a big old meal of food coming from the next 2 days of WWE programming. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And we are coming right back at you after WrestleMania Night 1. We're going to be talking all things WrestleMania Night 1. We're going to be giving you our thoughts, our opinions, and I'm sure I'm going to have another rant telling the IWC to be a little more tranquilo. But again, you can join in on the conversation by going to facebook.com and searching for A+ Wrestling, and where you can find all of the information for everything A+ Productions is by going to aplusproductions.com. Matt, we have some changes. There are only 2 feeds right now, just for my sanity, to be 100% honest, my sanity. Every show is going to be going into one feed, and that's the A+ Productions feed. But if you don't give a shit about everything else, and all you are here is to listen to our ramblings on wrestling, we do have an A+ Wrestling feed that's going to become very important in the next few months. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. I think that's a good idea. Love where your head's at. Let's go. And we'll talk to you again 2 times this weekend because we still have WrestleMania Night 1 tonight and WrestleMania Night 2, Derme Tabernacle in the back.
All right. So real quick, match of the night for you?
I do think, much like the esteemed nerds over at Cage Match, I do think it was the main event, the men's NXT title triple threat, Oba Femi versus Javon Evans versus Trick Williams. That match fucking slapped. It was great. It was a great show, though, but I'm picking that one. What do you think?
I agree wholeheartedly with you on that. Thumbs up or thumbs down show for you?
Big thumbs up. Easy, no thinking about it, thumbs up.
Same here. All right, we will be back later on this weekend. Again, thank you so much for the special edition of NXT Talk, where we were chatting NXT Stand and Deliver. We'll be back later. Thank you so much for listening. On behalf of the entire crew, we appreciate you, but most importantly, stay tranquilo.